Hello. I'm using the wrong mouse, that's why I can't do it. It's fun when you got two different computers here. Okay, so I'm Dave Miller. I'm the project leader for the Bugzilla project, and we just released Bugzilla 5.2 and a few other branches this last week, which was a really exciting because it's been a couple of years coming, and it's been way more work than I ever expected it would be. Because as you've probably noticed if you've been following any of our communications the last couple of years, gave a couple of dates that we thought we were going to be able to release, and it still took forever. We finally got there. Yay. So, what I promised for this week's stream was we're going to try and install a Bugzilla and see how it works. Excuse me. Okay. See if I can get my screen share going here. So first things first, if we're going to install Bugzilla, is we need somewhere to install it. And so we use Linode for our server hosting. So we are going to create a new Linode here to put it on. I'm going to try out Ubuntu 24. Our documentation is set up for 22, but we'll see how well it works, if the documentation needs to be updated or not. Hopefully it's close. And the rest of our servers are all in Dallas, so we'll put it there. Anode's the cheap one. Do I call it landfill? Maybe we should call it something else. Why not? We'll call it landfill still. I'll change this again at some point. Let's see, I'll get to see it on stream here. That's about it. Okay. Well, they want it to be really good, huh? Get out of my way, 1Password. Okay, so that'll take a minute or two to provision. It's usually pretty quick, actually. we have our IP addresses. So that means we can go over here and throw it in. Get it in DNS so we can find it. And it's up and running already. Yay. Does it give me the key on here anywhere? Don't see it. Okay. Oh, really? Oh, I know what it says. Okay. There we go. First thing we always do is set up the firewall. Oh, I list the rules. Status apparently isn't just showing me the rules. Oh, it is, just not when it's not active. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay. Prerequisites. So what do they call it? It's just Vim. Okay. They used to have it separated into GUI and non-GUI versions. It's all just one thing now, I guess. I like Vim better than Nano. Oh, and 24 has them installed already. Woohoo. A bunch of this stuff is probably installed already. Of course, most of the package names have changed. Why not? Or I'm not up to date. I should make sure I have a package list first. Let's try that again. There we go. Now it found everything. As it says, this will take a little while. Which is why we have two windows here. Just like it says in the docs, we can open another window and go work on other stuff. These installation instructions it must be talking about. Oh, that's Ubuntu itself. Okay. So we're copying stuff out of Bugzilla and we haven't even downloaded Bugzilla yet. That's interesting. Should add that step to the quick start. You have to get Bugzilla first. Okay. Okay. We're going to make a separate directory for it outside of the HTML because we'll point at it with a virtual host. Okay. So what I did here, you can't see it behind me because I got the thing down behind me. So what I did here, we created a var www web apps to put this in so that we're not having it in the HTML doc that the default host uses. So we're going to use a virtual host and give it a subdomain. And then I do, in that web apps directory, we're going to do git clone, and then the path to Bugzilla. Which I should show you where I get that from. There's this, on the GitHub page, there's this big green code button. And if you look at that, it gives you the, you can copy it from here and paste it into your string if you want. And the .git on the end of it is optional. I left it off when I typed it in here, but they have it in there. So, and then after that, you have a space and then the name of the directory you want it to create when it clones it. And so I'm going to call it Bugzilla-5.2 so that we can have some other Bugzillas in here too, like if I want to throw Harmony on here or something, which we'll probably do eventually. Oh, hey, what do you know? Our package installs are done already. Okay, so we come back to our quick start guide. We're supposed to copy this Bugzilla config. Oh, that's configuration for MariaDB. Directory does exist, okay. Our file got there. And just because I don't trust anything I see in a blind file, we'll make sure what's in it first. But yeah, this all looks like normal stuff. mainly the packet sizes and turning on InnoDB options and minimum size for the query search. Can I link a Git repository to a product and/or component in Bugzilla? Not that I know of. Yeah, that's it. Put it in the description. Bugzilla doesn't do anything with it automatically, so unless you're running Harmony and you got the new webhooks stuff, that GitHub will talk to it. That's a cool thing we're using on bugzilla.mozilla.org for our products. Is our GitHub repos have webhooks set up in them that point at bugzilla.mozilla.org, and it notifies it anytime somebody creates a new pull request on our products. And if it's got a bug number in the pull request description, it will add that to the matching bug as an attachment automatically when somebody opens a pull request and mentions the bug in the description, which is really cool. That'll be a nice thing to have in Harmony, which we might have to port part of that out because I'm pretty sure they've added stuff to it since we forked last, or merged last, whatever, with Harmony from BMO. Okay, so since we just swapped out a config file for MariaDB, we need to restart it. System control restart MariaDB. I should probably move these terminal windows over here a little bit because it makes the chat hard to read. Just the terminal windows underneath the chat. Okay. Oh, that's fun. Why is Firefox dead all of a sudden? Really? Okay, fine. Yay for saved sessions. Okay. And since it only listens on localhost by default, I don't care about using a easy password. I'm going to change it after I'm off stream anyway, but it can be easy for now because you can't get to it anyhow. Oops. There we go. I kind of did that in the wrong order, but we don't need to. That's a database name, and we haven't created the database yet, so just making sure the password works. Okay. Now we need to get Apache working. And we're going to make a bugzilla.conf file and put that stuff in it. And I'm going to throw a number in front of it just so it loads in the right order. Okay. And we're throwing it with a /Bugzilla right now. I am not going to do that. That's name virtual host, isn't it? Yep. Wait a minute. I forgot about that. We're not supposed to put it on bugzilla.org. That's L is gov. It's Bugzilla backwards. We just got that the other day. I can put a directory block inside a name virtual host, can't I? Let's see, we gotta add some modules too. Yep. Is there a CFG test or something? Well, they don't have that anymore. They used to have something you could throw at it that would tell you if your config was valid or not before restarting it. Okay. Yep, it's no good. That's why I wanted to check. Reload failed. Gee, that's helpful. Maybe this will tell us more. Oh, that'll be in the error log. Or not. Why is it not telling me what's wrong with the config? Oh, I know what's wrong with it now that I'm thinking of it though. It's it is supposed to be just virtual host. Yeah, it's yellow because it's black. Name virtual host is supposed to be a It's which port that it's active on. And it might already have that. Virtual host default. Okay, so we must have that's the only place we got it. Maybe Apache assumes that by default now. You used to have to add that to make sure it would do it. Let's not bother with that. Doesn't look like we need it. Okay. So eventually that should work. Hey, it works this time. Now the other thing we want is HTTPS. We need certificates. And we did not get certbot. We should be able to just do this and it'll yank all of our domain names out of the Apache config. Yeah, they already have it. Don't need to do it again. There it is. It found it. We should make landfill work too. Gub. There we go. Hopefully the DNS propagated already. Yep, looks like it did. And it redirected to HTTPS, and we have a default page. Yay. I'm going to make the landfill.bugzilla redirect to landfill.howasgub at some point. That gets the test page. And Bugzilla 52 should give us nothing because it's not configured yet. Okay. Maybe that does have to be outside the virtual host block. Oh, I know why. We didn't do the next step on the quick start config yet. We got to enable the CGI module. That would help. Actually, it needs to restart, not reload. Picking up new modules. Now we try it. There we go. And params haven't been configured because we didn't do check setup PL yet. But it's running the CGI now at least. Let me put this back up inside and make sure it still works that way. Reload will work pulling that one. Yep, that works. Okay. Okay, back to our quick start. Oh, we do have download Bugzilla in there. It's in the wrong order. That needs to be up before configuring Maria. Okay, install Perl modules. Because there's some that didn't have packages for. Which may or may not be the case because it's a newer version of the operating system. So let's run check setup PL and find out what it says first. Okay. Email sender, email address XS. Has new enough versions. 22 doesn't. So we don't need those on 24. Template's the only one it didn't like. 24 has it, but still has an old version of it. We don't have DBD MariaDB, but we probably didn't ask for it. Let's find out if they have it. Pretty sure we need this in order to install the DVD. That's what I'm looking for. If we have one of those that says MariaDB, let's try it. Bugs Live DVD. Nope. Okay. Okay. We need template and we need DVD, MariaDB. We could change these directions back to using MySQL instead of MariaDB. Except Ubuntu ships with MariaDB on it already. And I don't think they have MySQL in the core repositories. Which is weird, they don't have the DBD for MariaDB. So what this is doing now is installing Perl modules from source, basically, for the ones that there weren't packages for. And it's dropping them in a subdirectory under Bugzilla where it knows how to find them, so it won't affect the rest of the system. Okay, so now we're going to run check setup again. Now it likes it, and it gave us a local config file that we have to put stuff in. Someday we'll make this so it prompts you for stuff instead of making you edit the file. But Apache is what Red Hat uses. I'm on Ubuntu, so I got to change this to www data, which you can see down here is telling us to do. We got to change that www data. DB drivers got to be MariaDB. I'll leave it as MySQL, just so you can I can show you what it does. See, it says, hey, you're trying to use the MySQL driver on MariaDB. Don't do that. Access denied? Really? Okay, that password works. That is what we put in there, right? User bugs, dbpass was Bugzilla. That's what we put in. There's no database grant. Did I forget to do that one? Need to do this one. It does have to be that, doesn't it? Yep, there we go. Got to be backticks around it. I'm going to change the database name, since we're potentially going to have more than one on here. And the grant statement here, I changed to have the percent after it. That's a wildcard in MySQL and MariaDB. And that basically means any database name that starts with bugs instead of just bugs by itself. Okay. Temp file error. Created the database though, it looks like. Directory data does not exist. Indeed, there is no data directory. Why is check setup PL not creating it? Okay, that's a bug. I should find the previous one where I created the database first. Okay. Okay, that should be it. It should be working now. So I come over here and reload and we should get a home page. Yay. It tells us to go fix stuff. Yay. We should just auto-detect that stuff and fill it in. I think we got the Apache config doing that already because Let's Encrypt would have set it up when we added the certificate. Yeah, we're going to send it all the file for now. Because I don't want to screw with Linode trying to get their because they have SMTP outbound blocked by default, and I gotta get a ticket with them to get it opened up when we're ready to start using it. So until then, we're just gonna send it all to a file. Which means you can't sign up for a new account on it yet. So yeah, that was it. We have a working Bugzilla now. We have a test component and a test product, which has no bugs in it. We still have 0 bugs found with no explanation. I filed a bug on that recently about trying to get one of the little question mark thingy on the end of it that you can hover over and it would pop up giving the explanation of what it means. Because if English isn't your native language, it's not obvious that it's a misspelling, and you'd be wondering what it is. It has quips enabled by default. Most places I've been in have disabled the quip system. Yeah, there's nothing in there. Yeah, I think I will at some point. Harmony setup is a little bit different. Yeah, why not? Let's try it right now. Actually, carton is the only thing we need that 5.2 didn't ask for. Okay, we downloaded already. The install part is a little bit different. These are all the features to enable in Bugzilla, so it grabs the right prerequisites for them. And we're not doing that one, because we're going to do MariaDB instead. And this is Harmony's version of the install module PL. It's using off-the-shelf Perl, upstream Perl tools instead. And it installs all of them locally. But you can also run that periodically to get them to update too, which is nice. The install module stuff is a little bit harder to get it to upgrade. Harder to stay on top of updates when things have security issues. So this takes a few minutes to run. I think this is actually installing Perl modules from source as well. It's just not showing us the build output while it's doing it. And DBI is huge and has lots of binary parts, so it takes forever to build. Well, it's whatever's after it that's taking a while, actually. DBI is already done according to the output. DBD SQLite. That's what was taking a while. Harmony's got a lot of Perl dependencies. Yes. As I look over at chat and seeing you saying exactly the same thing. I think the testing stuff was near the end of the list from when I've done this before. The interesting thing about installing Harmony to run it is that Harmony technically does not run under Apache. It creates a standalone web server. It has its own daemon. And it usually runs on localhost on a weird port. So you set it up on Apache anyway, but you use mod proxy for it. And pass it through to the port that it's running on. Never did actually set that up. I swear I did somewhere. What server was that on? Did it finish yet? It did. 270 Perl modules. Okay. Now it's time to run check setup. I gotta edit local config and add stuff. Web server group doesn't matter anymore because it's running on whatever user it's running as. And URL bases with the local config instead of I don't know why these are separate. They both have to be the same thing. It's nice to know. What do you know? That exact same bug. Check setup is complete. Actually, we need to do that. In the non-SSL file and run certbot again. It'll copy it over. I'll go move the directory afterwards. Actually, we're not going to run any of that stuff. What port does it run on? Should tell us over here if we keep scrolling down. 3001, okay. sure if we need this part or not. But get out. Oh, wrong security certificate because we didn't rerun certbot yet. Yep, it did copy it over. Okay, it screwed that one up. Okay, let's try this again. Now it just doesn't work. That's Apache trying to load a file. What happened to that proxy pass? Huh, looks like that's right. I have to do something to turn it on. What I'm doing on screen right now is in a VM. Both of them technically. The terminal window is a VM that's public facing in Linode. And then the stuff that's the browser windows and stuff on screen are just local on my computer. Oh, I bet I know why it's not working. Because we didn't do that. Still doesn't work though. Oh, because it's 6.0 and not 6. Okay. It actually shouldn't matter. Because Apache doesn't care where it is, it's using proxy paths to get to it. Maybe I need to do the IP address instead of localhost. Wait. I'm local here, aren't I? Yes, I am. There's what I'm looking for. Oops. I don't know. Okay. Not executing CGI files. Weird. I don't know. I think the only time I've had Harmony successfully running so far, I ran it inside of the Docker container because it has the Docker config in it. You just do compose Docker compose up on a fresh checkout, and it runs it all itself. So that's apparently not doing something right. Dylan's the one who's been primary developer on the installation portion of Harmony. So I think I will have to go poke him at some point. Otherwise, I'm just kind of grasping at straws here, trying to figure out what's going on. So we've been going for about an hour and a half. Probably a good time to switch over to the Q&A part. Oh, we could set up a landing page on wonder if I have a backup copy of the old homepage off the old landfill server somewhere. Is there a keyboard shortcut for switching between Windows and Terminal on GNOME? Okay. Whoa, huge indent. Oh, now we have a. We'll have to make that pretty at some point. 2007, huh? July 1st. It's 6:19 in the morning. Ooh, pretty. So yeah, that's what we used to have on it. I know I talked about setting up some kind of a demo where people could deploy one and play with it from the admin side, and it would go away after a few days. And landfill actually had that at one point. The old landfill did. And that's what all these things are down at the bottom are ones that people had created using that system. And it would deploy one for you using the branch that you asked for and add it to that list on the front page. They didn't go away automatically though, so a lot of them hung around for years. Max, he hasn't been around for a while. It's in the default one that's not in here. Actually, we don't need to do that. Doesn't even need to be that fancy. Yeah. Okay, now if I reload, we should get redirected to Alice Gub. But it doesn't. Syntax highlighting isn't lighting up. I remember that turning red or purple or something. There we go. Must have to spell it out. Now what? Yeah, reload failed. That's quite useful. Yeah, it's not telling us anything there either. So with permanent didn't error, and permanent it does, even though permanent's the one the syntax highlights. Okay. That worked. Do with rewrite rule anyway. So somebody will have to get some web design and make this look pretty at some point. But so that is one thing that Bugzilla 6 does have, or what will be 6. Somewhere in this mess of script files in here. Right there. It will wipe out most of your database and well, we have to identify a user to keep or something. Must be command line options it needs. That doesn't look like it did much. Okay. Not remembering what I saw on the previous screen. It's param, just like that. Anything equal here. Who knows? Did I do that? Oh. Did it really go that quick? Of course, that's on Harmony, and that's the one that's not working. So I can't tell anyway. I could swear it dumped a whole bunch of stuff into the database, but I don't know. But yeah, that's what I was wanting to do, was get some kind of like dummy data to start with, and then reload the database either daily or weekly or something. Because that was one of the reasons the old landfill site went away. It was slowly collecting lots of personal information about lots of people over time. Being that it was running development copies of stuff that had patches on them of various sorts at various times, wasn't exactly the most secure place to be leaving personal information sitting around. And we did actually have a leak at one point that somebody got into it and got everybody's email addresses and stuff. That was back when Mozilla still ran it, so we let Mozilla's data security people figure that out. I don't even remember how many years ago that was. That was 15 years ago. So I think I will track down people who know how that script works better. That data generator one probably came from Dave Lawrence, DKL, but I'm not positive. Either him or Dylan probably did. But if that actually works, I think we'll port that to 5.2 and then we can use it to reload landfill periodically. Get some nice crazy data in there for people to play with and see how it works. and their own information they create if they start a new account can go away in a day or two. So I guess that about does it for the installation testing stuff. Anybody have any questions? We did say we were going to do some Q&A today, so if anybody has questions, we'll try that. Probably not. It's a slow day. That's another reason I was trying to ask around on chat the other day what a good time would be to actually have a stream. Because there's generally not a lot of people around in the middle of the afternoon on a weekend. Or early evening in Europe, or still morning in the West Coast in the US. So I was wondering if there's a better time of the week to do that, or a better time of day or something to do these streams, when people would actually be around. So if you're watching this on a video on demand later and hearing me ask this question, go join our Discord and tell us when you want to have a stream. Or just leave comments on the YouTube video, because the video on demand VODs are all on YouTube. So if you got a suggestion for a good time for streams, leave a comment. And with that, I think I'm going to cut the stream off then, if nobody's got anything else to ask. I accomplished what I set out to do today, and I'm in desperate need of sleep at some point, because I was working on stuff pretty late last night for a client, trying to get a rush job done for something they were doing at a retreat today. And that turned out pretty good. It worked like it was supposed to when they did it. So that was good, but it meant I lost a little bit of sleep. So I'm going to go sleep after I get off the stream. For a little bit anyway. So hey, have a good afternoon, evening, morning, whatever it is where you are. We will see you next week or some other time when we get when we set up a surprise stream or change the schedule or anything else. One thing we do have coming up, we're going to start doing the bug triage parties. That's what I want to find another time to stream for those. I try to get people involved. I got a blog post coming, which I will probably get in the next day or two after I sleep a little more, with general instructions for how we're going to go about that. And we have 25 years worth of stale bug reports. I think we have a couple, trying to remember what the numbers were. It's been a long time since I looked them up. I think it was January when I grabbed the numbers last, and there was like 100 bugs that are still open that were opened more than 20 years ago for the Bugzilla product. And I don't know how many of those are bugs that have already been fixed since then and nobody realized it because the bug was so old and there was a new bug filed instead. Or if it's still broken and nobody ever got around to fixing it in 20 years, which is just as likely. So that's something we'll need to do, is go through a lot of those old bugs. We really need to clean up the bug database. We've got like 10,000 open bugs or something like that in the Bugzilla product, and that's not really manageable. So I guess that will do it. We will see you all next time. Come visit us on Discord or IRC or Matrix. They're all listed on our website. If you got a little bit of money to spare, we could use a full-time developer or a part-time one for that matter, instead of volunteers. I think it'd be cool if I could do just Bugzilla, or if we could get somebody else that could do just Bugzilla. We need to have somebody doing just Bugzilla, that it's actually their job doing it. Because all of this trying to get volunteers to fit in around their regular jobs to get the stuff done is kind of why it took us 2 years to get 5.2 out after I said we were working on it. So that'll do it. Have a good whatever time of day it is for you, and see you next time.